Hi, Jeff Price here, Triton Motorcycles in the UK. We get asked a lot of questions with regards to the speed restrictions on 125s and 50cc bikes and age limits and everything else. On a 50cc bike, the European legislation is that a 16-year-old on a 50, the 50 must be restricted to 28 miles per hour. So it's online, you can check it out, it's 28 miles per hour. A 125 for a 17-year-old is restricted to 11 kilowatts, which means that the bike averagely will do around about 45 miles per hour. So all 50s and all 125s in the UK and Europe are restricted. Now, if you are 16, we cannot de-restrict your bike. That doesn't stop you from buying a kit off us to do that, but we can't de-restrict your bike. If you are 17 and you're on a 50, we can take the restriction off, no problem. If you're 17 and you're on a 125, we cannot take the restriction off unless you are a full license holder. So if you then become 18, we can then take the restriction off a 125. So I'll just go over what it is that we actually do to de-restrict these bikes. Now, all Tritons have a fuel injection and ECU. The restriction is mostly in the ECU, and on the 50 it's in the ECU and it's in the inlet manifold. So what we do in general with a 50, we would swap out the inlet manifold. We've got straight through ones that we supply as a kit. So we would replace the inlet manifold, plug the ECU in, remove the restriction and put a map on it. We highly recommend then on the 50 to change the air filter to make it breathe easier. We do recommend as well that you change the exhaust, obviously, so it gets rid of the gases quicker. It's not so important initially, but further down the line it's a good idea to do it. But initially, if you're buying one standard bike, we're able to remove the restriction and it'll run fine. It'll make a massive difference to the bike. So we do a complete kit. On the 125, we plug the ECU in, remove the restriction, put a map on it, change the air filter. Again, we recommend that you change the exhaust and put a straight through exhaust on. But again, it isn't mandatory, it will run fine, but it does make a massive difference, obviously, for the exhaust gases to be escaping. We also do sprocket kits, which change the gearing a little bit and make them a lot more usable. The ECU is used on a number of different 125s and 50s out there. It's a generic fuel injection and ECU, which a lot of companies use. Bullit use it on their Bullit Heritage 50 and their Bullit Heritage 125. Zhenhua use it on their 125, I don't even know if they do a 50. And Skymax, the Skyteam Skymax 50 and the Skyteam Skymax 125, again, use the same fuel injection and the same ECU. So none of them do what we do. They can't, we don't know of anyone else that's actually doing that, but we're able to plug them in and take restriction off. Averagely, a 50cc bike, as I say, 28 mile an hour. If you're a guy that's passed his test before 2001, driving test before 2001, you are able to ride a 50cc bike without doing a CBT, without doing anything, without applying for a license. You're able to ride a 50cc bike, no problem, no L plates, no issues. So before 2001, you can just jump on a 50 and ride it. If you want a 125, you've got to do a CBT and all that kind of stuff. So obviously the 125 is the more powerful machine, but where it comes down to sort of ease of getting yourself on a bike, if you've got the license to do it, a lot of older guys will just jump on a 50. I'll just show you a 50cc bike that we've done. So this has had the inlet manifold replaced for the large bore inlet manifold. I'll just show you. Right, that's the one that we have fitted. As you can see, it's straight through. There's no restriction in there at all. This is the one that got taken off. So there's your restriction. You could drill it out, but obviously the gas flowing and everything else, it does sort of help if it's nice and smooth inside. We replace them with this. So we put an air filter on, so inlet manifold, fuel injection is fine, ECU's plugged in, restrictions taken off, and a map put on. We changed the air filter, do a couple of different colours on the air filters, as you can see, and then we do all the pipes. So most popular ones are the high level ones, because these low level ones you lose your centre stand and you lose your rear foot pegs. So it's normally a popular thing for the high level exhaust. Okay, so I was out on this bike yesterday. It's supposed to do 28 mile an hour. I was doing 35 in third, 45 in top. This bike's not even running yet. It's only on 30 miles. It's our demo bike, so I'm not punishing someone's bike. But yeah, 45 mile an hour. Yeah, you know, on a flat road. Obviously, if you're going up a hill or you're going into a headwind, that's going to pull down. But it's certainly a lot faster than 28 mile an hour. The 125s, as I say, 11 kilowatts, averagely 45 mile an hour. When we do the same, we don't have to change the inlet manifold because it's fine on the 125. We plug the ECU in, and we take the restriction off and we put a map on. We change the air filter. This makes the bike do up to about 50 in third, 58 to 64 depending on the conditions, top end. We do a sprocket kit for both bikes, which obviously again make a little bit of a difference. These bikes come with a 13 tooth sprocket as standard. This one's got a 15 tooth sprocket on it. So again, as part of a kit, we do the sprocket. On the 125, the sprocket is a 15 tooth sprocket. We take the sprocket up to 18 teeth. Can't go any bigger than 18. What we have to do then on the 125, we have to start looking at changing the rear sprocket to a 30. Currently it's on a 32 tooth sprocket, and we reduce them down to a 30 tooth sprocket. If you then want a little bit more out of your bike, we do a replacement ECU. These ECUs, they, as a restricted bike, you're looking at 7,500 RPM. RPM is revs per minute. So as a standard bike, 7,500, 8,000 RPM as a restricted bike. We take the restriction off, that allows it to go up to around about 11,000 RPM. We get these directly from Rojo. This ECU is a 13,000 RPM. We do these as a an option that you can buy off us, and it will make a significant difference to the acceleration of the bike and the sound of the bike. As you'll see if you go onto our YouTube and Instagram videos, I mean, you know, you put one of these on, you definitely need an exhaust. You definitely need an air filter, because the bike absolutely spits flames. Doesn't particularly make it that much faster top end, but the acceleration and the whole feel of the bike and the whole sound of the bike is just phenomenal. So yeah, we do a replacement ECU, 13,000 RPM ECU. Yeah, so that's pretty well it in a nutshell. I've seen an awful lot of videos of people, especially with the likes of the Bullit, certain dealers, ripping all the wiring out, pulling all the fuel injection off, and you know, replacing it with an inlet manifold and a carburetor. You know, you don't have to do that. I mean, you know, these can be fitted quite easily if you've got a little bit of know-how. It's nothing to fit these. You know, you're talking about half an hour tops. You do not have to start chopping away at your wiring and starting to replace inlet manifolds with carburetors and all sorts of stuff like that. That is just completely unnecessary. These things are 4 bolts to swap out. You know, it's nothing to sort of swap these, and very cost effective if you're not in a position to be able to do it yourself. To get someone to do it wouldn't cost a lot. The kit itself is very inexpensive, so keep an eye on our website, keep an eye on the press for these. The kits will be in a number of forms, and they're coming soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye now.